What's poppin', everybody? Tara Lynch here with the next big thing, the video cast sharing all things infotainment. Now, sports are back. We've discussed that. But how are sports coping with the fact that there are no fans in the stadium? Well, I'm going to bring on Peter Rader from the Baltimore Orioles, who works in the video content department, to give us some insight on how they are working on social media to enhance the fan experience. Plus, we go over this week's news bites and trends. Let's jump right in. We begin with this week's news bites. COVID-19 is spreading across the country again, with new outbreaks in states like Louisiana and New Jersey. Now, some governors are questioning if they opened up too quickly, but the president is urging states to open up faster, despite a federal investigation saying that nearly 50% of the states in this country have an outbreak in the red zone. In the wake of George Floyd's death, protests are happening in the U.S. and across the globe. The focus is on Portland, Oregon. Attorney General William Barr testified in front of Congress this week defending the response to these protests, which included using federal officers to suppress the anti-racist protesters. And finally, remembering the morning maestro. Over the weekend, Regis Philbin passed away. The famed morning host who launched Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, now Live with Kelly and Ryan, was one of my personal heroes. I remember waking up in the morning and tuning in at 9 a.m. to watch his banter with his co-host. It was just so much fun. His ability to tell a story reminded me of that of my grandfather, both Irishmen who could take a very simple story and extend it into a 20-minute long segment. He will truly be missed. As pro sports return, teams are looking to a new digital fan experience, combining video production, photos with social media. But how are they doing this? Well, today I'd like to welcome in Peter Rader, a video content intern with the Baltimore Orioles. Peter, thank you so much for joining me today on The Next Big Thing.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's great to be here.
So let's just dive right in. I know you. We go to Ithaca College together. You just finished your first year at IC, and now you have a huge opportunity interning with a professional sports team in Major League Baseball. So what is your background in video production? How did you get involved? And then how did you land an internship with the O's?
So I started video production in high school. I started working with some sports teams at my high school. Everything kind of grew. It took off. I got to college. I ended up getting a job at IC with the athletic department. I was able to get a lot of great experience, and my work kind of took off once I got to college. And around January, February, I started applying to internships, and I saw one for the Orioles. I applied, had a few interviews, and ended up getting the job.
And, the MLB season, it just began about a week ago. So there was a good chunk of your time working with Baltimore that, there was really no baseball happening. So what did your role entail during that time?
So during that time, I would edit a lot of content that was kind of filler content until the season started. So I was editing some highlights for prospects for the player development account. I edited some phone calls between current players, alumni, and fans. And I also recorded and edited podcasts with the team.
Definitely a lot of creative mediums there to try to fill that gap as baseball now is back. So let's transition there. They came back about a week ago. So now what are you doing to kind of create this enhanced virtual experience for fans since they can't go to the games?
So I've been making a little bit of content with the season returning. I made some countdown videos to the season last week. Counting down each day until opening day, which was a success. They ended up winning the series against the Red Sox, which was a big deal for them. Unfortunately, right now, a couple of their games have been canceled against the Marlins due to their COVID-19 breakout. So, it's been a little bit slow lately, but I'm hoping it'll ramp up in the future.
Definitely a challenge when you're battling with a pandemic as well, and as you said, the Marlins having multiple cases of COVID-19, that's having a ricochet effect across the MLB. The Yankees' schedule being impacted as well. The Phillies have to quarantine. They played the Marlins last, so it's a huge, complicated time. especially for the Orioles as well. So let's transition and switch gears. What do you think the future is for this type of multimedia approach to fan experiences in the future?
So I think that content for social media is a really big deal right now. And I think that a lot of teams are investing their time and money into hiring creatives to, bring that fan experience at home, especially right now with no fans in the stands. I think that social media teams that, really bring a lot of energy to the table are able to reel in the fans and get them excited for the season.
Awesome. Peter Rader, video content intern with the Baltimore Orioles. Peter, thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Peter, for coming on the show today, and you can catch some of his work on the Baltimore Orioles social media channels. All right, well, it is time to discuss some celebrity news. There was a ton that happened last week, so let's dive in our trends we love. Up first, Demi Lovato's engagement. Fiancé Max Eric popped the question while on the beach with Lovato, and she is beaming, saying that this is the best she has felt in years. The ring, well, it's 10 carats. Yeah, it's pretty big, but the smiles, those are priceless. Congratulations, Demi and Max. And just when we thought that was enough celebrity news, Taylor Swift happened. The pop star announced she was releasing a new album just 17 hours before dropping it worldwide. Folklore takes a turn from her usual pop style into a more alternative singer-songwriter style, placing emphasis on the storytelling and the lyrics. Now the album, well, it broke a lot of records. It is the #1 streamed album on Apple Music and broke 24-hour streaming records for Spotify and Apple Music on the day it was released. Oh yeah, and it also debuted at #1 on the Billboard Albums chart. So I recommend that this is the one for you to listen to, so pull on your cardigan and I hope you're at peace because Folklore is something special. Those of you who know me know that I have this weird obsession with outer space and planes, so here are some out-of-this-world trends we love. Remember back in May when we were all crowded around our TVs watching Robert Behnken and Douglas Hurley get launched into space? Well, they are returning home. They will depart the International Space Station August 1st and splash down August 2nd. Now, these two men were the first American astronauts aboard an American rocket to be launched into space since the space shuttle missions, and we are ready to welcome them home. And while they return from space, NASA returns to Mars. The rover named Perseverance will head up to the Red Planet in search for life on Mars. Her sidekick? A helicopter named Ingenuity. Both of them launched from Kennedy Space Center this morning, and we wish them bon voyage. As we wrap up our show, our trend for you is rolling with the punches. Now, this is something that I don't do very well, but I'm trying to work on it right now, especially during this quarantine period. Now, there are a lot of looming decisions over all of our heads, and they're all very different depending on what you are going through. But my recommendation, and something that's helping me, is trying to break these big decisions into small ones. And if we take those small decisions step by step, we can hopefully make the best overall decision for us. Okay, all you cool cats and kittens, that's all the time we have today on The Next Big Thing. If you have something big to share, feel free to shoot me a message or put it in the comments below. Come back next week for more, and remember, when you need the news that pops, I'll be here with The Next Big Thing.